Michelle here. I am up again another morning. I kind of rested over the weekend. I think Friday was a hectic day for me. I decided to reap my potatoes, sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. In fact, I prefer sweet potatoes fried over boiled, but I like boiled anyway. So this is me coming out early in the morning. I usually start a little bit later. And let me tell you something. Every time I come out this morning, you can't see the mosquitoes here. You don't feel them until you feel a section of your skin just start burning, burning, burning. And then you start itching. Yeah. I've had malaria twice since I got here. And the solution, it seems, is constant drinking of various bush teas. So I've drunk neem tea, papaw leaf tea, um, lemongrass tea. I've mixed all of them. They have this fruit they call Eden fruit, really nice tea. Mix all of them with ginger. Yes, I've had a number of um, bush teas or herb teas or herbal teas, whatever you guys want to call it. Yeah, so I'm up this morning with the intention of starting on the yard again. Yard is a lot of work. You know, the video before this, I think I did it last week. I kind of started over with sharing how I got here. Um, I did some previous videos. I can't be consistent for a number of reasons. I can't be consistent because I get up every single day during the week and I do some work on the yard, getting rid of the bush. By the time I finish one section, I have to come back to it because, especially if the rain falls, it's a whole lot of bush and things just springing up. It helps with like my callalus for sure because they just boom overnight and you're good. And then it helps with my gardening other ways as well. This is my garden again. This is my yard. Two plots of lands currently. The bushed up here over there is also mine, but not the bushed yet. Um, but this is fine. This is good enough space to work with for the time being. Over there is what I'm going to eventually turn into my chicken coop. Now, I am one of those persons who don't spend money on things I can do myself. Um, it doesn't matter to me how it turns out in terms of aesthetics. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna pay someone to weed the yard if I can do it, because that money can be used for other things. And those are some of the things I had to think about when I was coming here. My financial situation is not the same as anybody else's, so I have to make sure that my money stretches. I'm a single mom, have been for most of my childbearing years. I'm not complaining, it's just the way it is. Um, so when I decided to come, I had to think about how I could stretch my money. When I started reaching out to persons, one of the things I realized is that they, not all of them is encouraging. There are persons who don't want persons to come, diasporans to come to Ghana. Some of them are here to make their money, to be rich where they weren't rich before, or to be richer than they were before. Not saying that that's the reason why some of them were not, encouraging. Some of them really believe that sort yourself out here, don't come here. I don't really think that's the correct approach. Everyone wants a little piece of peace for themselves. And I wanted that for myself, I wanted that for my family. Going back to Jamaica was not feasible for a number of reasons. Not only economically, but there are other reasons. The only thing I have left in Jamaica now is my mother, and I'm working on getting her out. Right? But I realize that there are persons who believe if you're not someone who has a whole pile of savings put down or pension, you cannot come to Africa, the African continent, and be, okay. Look at this. Look at. Why are you climbing me? Milo, why are you climbing? And he's biting, and his claws are sharp. So, yes, I spoke to a lot of persons I met on YouTube. I reached out on Instagram, I reached out on YouTube somehow, but not all of them were encouraging. And even my friends, I'm a teacher, so I have colleagues, many other persons were, they just couldn't understand why I just picked myself up and want to head to Ghana, right? I've never been there. I was not in a position to, you know, buy some plane tickets, go visit, look around, sort out, decide. Friend, if I left the US, I was there on an H-1B visa. So if I had left the US, I couldn't come back directly. I would have to head to Jamaica, make appointment to get my visa stamped with the H-1B that I got in the US, right? And just imagining the cost in fares alone, and I couldn't leave my 17-year-old daughter at the time in the US to go gallivant to Ghana, then back to Jamaica before I headed back to the US. So my my move was a do or die thing, you know. I'm going there, never been there, and I had to trust and depend that the Most High would just guide me and direct me in a way that made this a successful move. That's how I had to do my move. I know there are different ways people do. Right now, I have one neighbor. I don't think, well, the sun is directly in front of me. So if I switch the camera, I think all you would see is, and I'm finding because every morning you come out, flies. You have some flies. I don't know. I think the flies here are a lot more persistent than the ones anywhere else. So as soon as you come through that back door, they are in your ears, over your head, and they're just buzzing, 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 which is very annoying. But I have a neighbor. I can look at her house. She has been building long before I came here. So she went back to the US and just came back and saw a house with people living there, right? And of course, for those persons who saw the previous videos, when I finally met someone who could help me through a friend of a friend, and who I felt I could trust to purchase land on my behalf, I eventually ended up saying, you know what, I'm not going to be renting anyway, because here you rent for like a year or two. They don't do month to month. It's not a common occurrence to find people who will accept monthly rent. So it's annually. And when I thought about paying somebody 3 or 4 thousand cedis for a year or two, then remember, I would have left my job in the US, right? So I wouldn't have any income coming over. It's not like I started out a job before I came, so I was coming right into a job or anything. I eventually just said, money or no money, work or no work, I'm gonna see how far the money can stretch and take it from there, which is what I did. Some people would say that's foolishness, some people would say that's brave, some people would say people have different opinions. That was just my reality, right? So I decided that money or not, job or not, this was my final resting place, right? So through a friend, I met a lady, and that was after reaching out to some YouTubers. I remember Nana Kwame. Um, he has a TikTok channel, and so I see him advertising the school this time. But I met him, and we had that discussion. He had a school. I didn't mind helping out at the school. Um, he gave some suggestions, but nothing practical for me to implement in terms of him being the person to get me over. What he did though is give me steps I could take, options, um, one of those was the same, renting somewhere for a period of time and then sorting myself out. But that would have used up whatever little cash I would have gotten when I left Georgia, and then I would be stuck, right? So I decided I wasn't going to do it that way. Then there was Kevin Burton, who is also a fellow Jamaican that came here years ago. He gave me similar advice, and I walk with the Most High. I believe that He channels, navigates my life. I believe that the events that happened in my life was tailored by Him. So if this is the move He wants me to make, no matter what happens, it will work out. That's my view. Can't kill me on that. Everyone has their view, whether on how God works in their lives, or events happen in their life, and that's fine. But for me, this was it, right? So I met this lady through a friend, and we clicked, and she became the driving force for my transition. I stopped thinking, and I stopped thinking about renting late, about some that mid-April, thereabouts. So she was now um, switching gears to think about how can she help me to get my piece of land and put something on it for me to come. So we started out thinking of a 1 bedroom kitchen and bathroom. But her husband said, no, that's a waste of money. Just bring everything up. And that started the journey of me starting a house on a land that I never saw until I got here. And I'll tell you how that goes as I go along. But again, each time I speak, I'll show you. This is it. For those who don't know cassava, that's a cassava bed. There's another one over there. A closer view of the um, chicken coop. My cane patch, sugar cane for those who don't know, and then my have sweets up. This is a sweets up seedling, and another one over there, right there, right. But we'll talk again. I'm going to be getting to work. The house is worked on as money come in, and let me tell you guys, I definitely live by faith. I came here helping the same lady, and it was taking up too much time that I wanted to work on the house, see certain things improve on the house, and being at school for the whole day, every day during the week was not going to work out. Plus, as a Sunday worshiper for most of my life, I decided that the Saturday worship was the way to go. It was that's the spiritual side of things. I'm not going to go into right now, but I needed changes here. I wasn't going to live the same way I lived in Jamaica or the US here, so I needed to be here to do certain things. And my daughters, because they're here with me too, I had to be sure that I made decisions that help us here and helped us financially. But that's going to take time. We're definitely not solving financially right now, but the Most High has been keeping us day by day. Real unexpected things happen as He provides for us. But as I said, this is an upgrade on the house, and men will be coming here in a little bit to work on the inside, the back room where my mom will be staying. And I want to start working because I don't want the sun to be too high and be out here, because I do that every day. I don't have a problem with the sun, but it's really hot out here during the days. So I'll see you on another video.